Teach and Share Week 11, Chapter 24, Partnerships with My Mom on June 29th. So do you know what a partnership is?
Yeah. It's either between two people or two businesses.
So the basics of a partnership, it's the oldest type of business organization. The rules or laws of today are similar to what they were in 6th century Justinian Code of the Roman Empire, which is kind of how partnerships started, even that far back. So every state will have a statute governing partnership law. And you were kind of spot on with your definition of what a partnership is, which is basically association of two or more people and can also include a corporation to be co-owners of a business for profit, as well as separate from its owners. So you just gave like the basic.
All right.
So there are different types of partnerships. There's general, limited, and limited liability. So if there's no specific type of partnership mentioned, it will be considered a general partnership. As well, it's non-taxable. So the partnership doesn't pay taxes, but each partner is taxed on their share of profits or losses. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So the creation of a partnership is fairly easy. Usually is done by an agreement which can be expressed or implied and is oral or written. So contract law applies to the formation of a partnership, which means the partners must have the ability to enter into the agreement. So again, you can't be doing anything illegal, anything like that. It has to be, on spot on. So with this, partnerships can be created to last for a specific amount of time or can go on forever, indefinitely. Partners will be co-owners, which means that they have joint control over business operations and rights to any profits. So a partnership agreement is how, like I said, you create a partnership. And that's a written agreement and the most common way to create a written agreement is the most common way to create a partnership. Documents that will create the partnership and outlines what the responsibilities of those partners is called a partnership agreement, which is kind of a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah.
So the common terms of a partnership agreement are the name of each partner, the name of the partnership and the names of the partners, the location of the headquarters for the partnership and what laws will govern that partnership, purpose and duration of it, amount of capital that will be contributed by each partner, loss and gain allocation between those partners, distribution of profits, how it's going to be managed, responsibilities divided between those partners, the voting rights allocated, and events that could cause the dissociation of a partner or termination of a partnership. And there are cases where there's not a partnership agreement set up, there's no written agreement, but that makes things more complicated if there are problems that have to be resolved. And in that case, state laws will decide the rights and responsibilities and duties of partners. So when it comes to the rights of partners, unless otherwise stated in the agreement, the partners will have equal rights to the profits and management rights. So if it's stated otherwise, then, if like this partner has this like 10% or 50, whatever it is. So with this, it also breaks it down to what specific responsibilities are. So the first one is duty to serve. So partners expected to perform services for their partnership, and it won't be true if the partnership states that a partner will contribute money, capital, and services. So you have to have a duty to serve. You have to be able to serve.
Yeah.
You have to be able to perform your duties in that. Duty of loyalty is where partners must put the interests of the partnership above their own self-interest. So you have to think of the company first, not what you want. Every partner, you have to think it makes a lot of sense. And when in cases where you don't, and somebody's being selfish, is where problems come in. So every partner has to account for any benefit of a transaction that would be connected to that business. And the partners can't compete with the partnership and can't make any secret profits while doing business for the partnership. So again, you can't do under the table, secret. You have to be honest with everything.
That sounds fair to me.
Oh, yeah. So duty of care is where partners must serve faithfully to the best of their ability. They must refrain from gross negligence, reckless conduct, intentional misconduct, or violations of the laws. So partners are not liable for losses from an honest mistake in judgment. So if you're making a mistake honestly, there's not going to be a liability. If you're making intentional mistakes and doing intentional things, then yes. So if there is an agreement, it can reduce the duty of care or increase the duty of care as long as it's reasonable. And agreements can excuse partners from liability if they act in good faith and believe that what they are doing is in the best of the company. So now it's coming to the fun part of liabilities of partnerships. So in a general partnership, the partners are liable for the debts of said partnership. The acts of one can subject the other to personal liability. Each partner will be jointly liable for obligations. So a third party has the ability to sue all of the partners in one partnership, but each partner can be held liable for the full amount. Additionally, joint and severally liability can occur, which is where a third party has the option of suing all the partners together, just one or some of the partners separately. So there's different ways that they can be sued if something happens. And all partners can be held liable even if one or more didn't know or did participate in the wrongful conduct. So partnerships can be tricky.
Yeah, it sounds like
it. It's you got to make sure that the people that you're working with and partnering with are people that you can actually trust. So there is a type of partnership called limited liability partnership. So it's a hybrid form of partnerships that are normally for professional partnerships like attorneys, doctors, stuff like that. So this allows the tax benefits of pass-through taxation, but will limit the personal liability of partners. As well, this is different where other ones you don't have to file with the state. This one you do. And you have to look at what your state's rules and regulations are, which makes sense. So this allows individual partners to avoid personal liability for any torts, wrongdoings, or malpractice of other partners. The partner will remain personally liable for their own wrongdoings, but other partners don't have to worry about their assets. So, and then, yeah, it does. If you create something wrong, you should lose your assets, but the other partner shouldn't. So a firm's assets, along with assets of the partner who committed the wrongdoing, are at risk, but personal assets, again, are protected of the other partners. Additionally, there is another type of partnership called limited partnership. So this will limit the liabilities of only some of the partners. And it's an older type of partnership and will have one general partner and one or more limited partners. So the general partner will manage the partnership and have liability for it, while the limited partner only contributes cash and other assets, but doesn't have any say in what the management decisions are. So the limited partner is not liable for any debts of the partnership beyond what they invested. So what they invested, that's what they are in charge of. Anything else is not. So if they do, for whatever reason, change their minds and start helping out with the management decisions, they lose that limited partnership and now are responsible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Do you understand partnerships a little bit better now?
Better.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
Yeah. I was kind of fascinated. I was like, wow, there's a lot more about partnerships that I did not understand. But I mean, I kind of would need to know this if I decide to have a partnership, if I, working in event planning, but also kind of tying into with my project for my international business class, what kind of partnership we would want to be as a company. So it's a fun.
So you learned a lot this week.
Yes, so much. Thanks, Mom. You're the best.